Today we're comparing two powerhouse pets for your mage legion. And this is going to be Sapphire Faedrake or Shadow Faedrake, and help you pick the best one for your strategy. Let's talk first about the synergy, and this is because it's actually unlocking the true power. And I'm going to start first with the Faedrake. Now, right now my Faedrake is not well built, as you can see. It's like I actually catch it outside, but the point here is this spell, which is Shadow Hunter, which is giving some damage factor. It get extra 78 because the intelligence is good for I have good intelligence over this pet. Also I have good spirit. But if we go a little more deep in the spells, here we have also advanced Shadow Hunter. Now why this thing is important? First thing first, the Shadow Hunter is going to give you, now the damage is important, don't get me wrong, but this captive is actually pretty nice, and you can see the damage bonus can go to 5.3%. Now in my legions, in my 5 legions, I have a single Faedrake, and I'm going to explain why. Just because it's for single target. So when I attack somebody, or I focus all of my marches, I don't focus split. I mean, this legion is going to attack this one, this legion is going to attack something else. I move all of my 5 legions together, and having this one Shadow Faedrake is just going to increase the damage bonus that I'm going to do over this specific legion. That's why I think this is absolutely great synergy for all of your legion. This extra damage dual bonus is going to apply also for example, Lilia Velen, that is having actually Sapphire Faedrake, and etc. It's just having one is enough. But yeah, we're going to also go for Sapphire Faedrake. Obviously the game is presenting us with so many pets, so it's it's little hard to pick sometimes. Sometimes some old pets arise from the shadows and become very valuable. Sometimes the new one is way better from the old one. Now it's not only for the Shadow Hunter. For this pet you also have advanced Shadow Hunter, which is every 250 spirit you're going to spirit extends the duration by 1 second. Of course this thing can be reduced depending, I guess, on how many stars this spell is having. My personal Shadow Faedrake is having 319, so far it's going to just get increased by 1 second from this Shadow Hunter if I get this spell. But yeah, when you start up this spell, the amount of spirit needed for extension is just going to be 1 extra seconds. Now here is the thing, and that I do with my Sapphire Faedrake. This is again for the synergy, and if you see, I actually have follow-up. Now I don't have the other follow-up that for example I have for example here, which is critical rate and blah blah blah. Since this pet is not actually for critical rate or something like this, it's more for this debuff that is just in general is going to, your pet is going to do the rest. All of your 5 pets is going to do more damage. All of your heroes is going to do more damage. Artifacts is going to do more damage. Here even the game actually suggests that, but yeah, even at this level where most likely I'm going to have how much is going to be the bonus right now? It's just going to be damage bonus plus 4.16% because it's determined by intelligence, and my my pet is having big brain, let's say it like this. And we have also follow-up here, which is 40% chance after 2 seconds. Basically the duration of this spell of the captive right now is having 2 seconds. You're going to have the chance to extend with extra 2 seconds. Now again, if you spend little more over this pet, you're going to actually increase the Shadow Hunter captive effect much more. But still, follow-up is going to be after 2 seconds when this thing gets triggered. Here is some bonuses which it don't help you that much. Here we have the trigger chance, maybe it's going to be good pick. But yeah, so far I think for the synergy of your legions, you're going to actually need one Shadow Faedrake for all of your 5 legions. Now I run this pet with the Bertrand, because when Bertrand Tocher was presented, also the pet was presented. In many cases you're going to see in Call of Dragons where the the new heroes are presented with the pet, and this pet in like 90% from the cases is actually the pet you're going to need for this legion. Now there is a different builds so far. Shadow Lizard, not Shadow Lizard, oh my god, Sand Lizard is getting more and more popular just because of the healing that is providing and increasing the survivability of the legions. But still, I think this pet, at least you should have it at one legion. Now at which legion? I prefer to be on Bertrand and Tocher, and the main reason is the rest of the damage dealing pets I want to be on the heroes. Now one thing to mention is your heroes have to be strong, so your pet is going to be also strong. This is very important thing that need to be mentioned. So far Bertrand Tochen I think is a good fit. I was thinking maybe to actually use this pet over Thunderlin and Thea, since you know Thea is just giving one shield, which is not that helpful, and it's not, but at the same time Thea is boosting the damage by a lot, which is going to boost the damage of this pet, which, you know, you better use your damage pets with the best heroes, and this one is more like support, you know, fighter. It's not actually the pet that is going to do the big damage. I think the Shadow Hunter have a great potential, and again, yeah, you should have one of this one, my personal opinion. Now let's talk about pros and cons for Shadow Faedrake, and we're talking about debuff against DPS. Obviously this pet is not doing some crazy amount of damage, he's like 26. Now if I pick some other pet that is having at least maybe at level 1 this spell, yeah, this one is at level 1, I don't know why. It's with Syndra, but this is level 1, so here we have like 50. It's very important because the boost and the extra damage you're going to receive, you know, is based on this damage factor. So 50 is way better from 35. Even though Sapphire Faedrake was actually presented in the season 1, and for mages main, most likely you're going to have Sapphire Faedrake, you have the opportunity to pick one of the 4 pets, by the way, when this feature was presented in the game, and I picked my Sapphire Faedrake back in the days, you're going to receive an epic one. I mean, that was back in the days. I think this feature is more in deep with the game. But anyway, let's talk about Sapphire Faedrake. And one thing I can say, if you can actually get away with the Shadow Faedrake and actually not put that much here, okay, not actually increasing the skill level of this one, you're going to see damage bonus. Damage bonus is pretty decent, so maybe this is also a good point. But Sapphire Faedrake for me have to be 3-star, especially the rage skill. Now there is a good thing that the game actually present for us, and this is every time you actually catch a pet, you have pretty decent chance to have a talent skill of this pet, which make the things way more easy. It was not like back in the days when somebody show up at your door and say, yo, I have 3-star pets, and you're like, oh my god, how you did it. So many videos was created how to make a 3-star pet, and I think these days the thing is way more easy for everybody. And here is the thing, this first Faedrake is still needing some work. I'm happy with the intelligence I have over this pet, because those 2 spells benefits from the intelligence. Now at the end of the season, or maybe soon, I'm going to get this spell also. I think is going to be extremely valuable. This is hit more enemy legions with every 155 points of spirit. Rainbow hits an extra enemy legion. Now I cannot say that I have so many spirit of this pet. It's like 243. It is far away from 300. for example, or 310 to be precise. You basically have to have this thing maxed here to actually get this one. But maybe the stars is going to reduce this one, but one extra target and having this pet that is having pretty decent damage output, having intense blade boom, which is going to increase the bonus each time you fix Scorch, Hair Frost. So from here you're going to even see with which legions is going to work the best. Scorch obviously is going to be Lilia, Hair Frost, Waldir, Valiant, or and Schnare on one enemy legion. Plan will deal more damage the next time it get casted. So pretty much this is a pet for Lilia, and maybe if you want to go with Waldir and Velen, I'm start thinking, based it on the pets to make little changes and maybe bring back Lilia Thea and Waldir Velen and use Thunderlin with Mu. Something like this, just because those pets are doing crazy amount of damage on the battlefield. Now the next level is going to go from 275 to 459 damage factor. There is so many boosts that you can actually have over this spell and over the pet performance that is mind-blowing. Now from these spells, obviously this one is not something that you want to have, and this one also, this Legion HP, I put it because I'm League of Order, and there was just I think that was a spell that actually come with my pet. This is, I just put something there, I just put something there. But the rest of the spells is a very good one. War Pet's skill damage do 6% plus 9.71. This is like spirit related, and I have mage. What was not mage related? It was intelligence related. Now here is the thing, I already have like 3 of the intelligence spells here, which most likely I'm going to maybe keep this one, or maybe I should remove it. Now this one is really reducing the how much targets I can actually hit and which heroes to actually use. Now Scorch, Hair Frost, and Snape is something that Lilia have it, and only Waldir and Velen. Now I don't want to use Waldir, and if I want to use Lilia with Velen, yes, I'm going to trigger this one a lot, but I think Sapphire Faedrake, especially this one, is going to be for my Lilia, so obviously it's going to be fine to have this spell here. But maybe I was thinking for a second Legion, but still I want to have this foul up, which is getting some extra of the first casting determinant can be triggered once every 3 seconds. Power up, critical rate 10% plus 11% determined by luck. Now my luck is not something crazy, but yeah. So far this is a damage dealer pet, and if I have to compare these two pets, which to use, as I mentioned at the start of the video, for sure Shadow Faedrake is going to be one of the pets, and maybe I can use actually 2 of these pets. I think it's going to be 2. Now at this place on the second pet, which currently I'm not working over this pet, but most likely at one point I'm going to start working. I'm trying to do one pet by one pet, just it's time consuming, first thing, and also it consumes a lot of your resources. So this one is going to be the first one. This is going to be the Lilia Velen pet, and most likely on the second pet, I'm going to use this one, but I'm not going to get intense play boom, and I'm still going to keep the foul up, and I'm going to buy this spell, as I already showed this pet spell. This is going to be advanced place boom, which is actually spirit related. It's not even mage related. So oh my god, I get confused here. Yeah, it's completely fine to actually use this one, this 3, and I'm going to remove that one and maybe use intense place boom or something like this, and it's going to work completely fine for me. Now I'm going to keep this pet at 7 stars, 7 swords, just because I don't want to lose this very good intellect that I have over the pet. Also, the spirit is not the best thing you get, but it's still something very good. So this is going to be the pet. Most likely this Sapphire Faedrake is going to end up with these spells. So I can actually get one more Sapphire Faedrake, and maybe I'm going to think about the third. I have like one Faedrake and 3 Sapphire Faedrake. Now some people are thinking also for Seraphic Faedrake, but is providing healing. Yeah, that's correct, which is damage factor some is 35 like the Faedrake, but it's not actually boosting all of your 5 legion damage over the target. So I actually put aside this pet from, you know, developing this pet. Each time initial skill inflict a buff or debuff, your war pet gain 1 stack of anti-atri, max 4, which is removed when your war pet casts skill. Healing getted 6% per stack, war pet skill damage 3% per stack. Still is not going to actually catch up with the damage with the Sapphire Faedrake. And the other thing is, I think we don't have now this advanced one, so damage some extra damage. Again, it's still not going to catch Sapphire Faedrake, maybe at 20%, but this is pretty decent boost, not gonna lie. Here, for every increase the stacks by 1, so it's not even adding an extra target. So for me personally, maybe that was a good one for, you know, maybe Margaret Zeta. Still, I think maybe Sand Lizard is going to be the best choice there, my personal opinion. But I think is basically this pet will not find a place in my roster of pet. Most likely is going to be Sapphire Faedrake. It's just this pet is built very well, and is going to serve you very well. This is my personal opinion, as I already mentioned. So compare it which one to use, or, you know, use one Faedrake and the rest you can actually put some Sapphire Faedrake, strongly depending. And this is maybe also good free to play build, even though Sand Lizard is also a good one. You can get one Sand Lizard for your Margaret Zeta if you use this legion. But this is what I'm going to do with my pets here. Still, you know, some of the pets still need some work, but yeah, we're on the way. We have a lot of these coins. At one point I'm going to spend them, and I have a lot of these Yggdrasil shard. I have 12 so far. I collect them, but I really double, triple, quadra thinking over what is I'm going to do in the future with my pets. Are they going to have some crazy pets coming? And I'm going to wait the season 4 pets, and I'm going to save like 4 of these shards, maybe for some of the specific pet spells. Like for example, here you even have advanced Shadow Hunter, advanced Playboom, and stuff like this. Even the new pet Warhound, what was Shadow Warhound or something like this, you even have this advanced Outburst, which is very nice. So yeah, this is small comparison and maybe my personal opinion over those pets, and how most likely I'm going to progress with these pets, what I'm going to buy, what I'm not going to buy, and stuff like this. So yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments your personal opinion, if you have some experience with these pets. You can send me some reports. I mean, many people send me some reports from their pets and their legions, and you can do it also. You can find me, I'm in the server 99, just to mention that. Right now we're in KVK with the Echo, so to be precise, I'm in SOS 2 4024 division. You can find me in the BTR. I'm right now in BTR, but yeah, I'm not so sure where this video is going to come out, so the server is 99, just for more easy for the people who, but most of the people actually know where I am. So yeah, I guess this will be for this video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to hit one like, subscribe, and see you in the next video.